Hi, I'm Forcella-Burton. I'm the Director of Post-18 at the Lee Academy, and this is the fourth in a series of 5 videos about your options for the end of year 13. Now, the previous videos have explored the 4 options of going into full-time employment, or getting an apprenticeship, or taking a gap year, or going to university. This next video is one that you should probably watch with your parents, because this video is all about the financial implications of each of those 4 options. And this is something that really you need to be discussing with your parents, because they will be able to give you some financial insight that maybe you don't have at the moment to help you make your mind up. So, what are the financial implications of each of the 4 options available to you at the end of year 13? So if you decide that you want to go straight into full-time employment or get an apprenticeship, the first thing to think of is that in the short term you will be earning more than your friends who go on a gap year or go to university. So in the short term, it's a win. If you get a job that has got no training, so employment, not an apprenticeship, you will be earning the most, the quickest. However, people that do an apprenticeship are likely to overtake your earnings once their apprenticeship comes to an end. And in all likelihood, your friends who go to university will then, probably their starting salary, say at the age of 21 or 22, is likely to be higher than what you are earning when you are the same age. Because it is true that the more qualifications you get, generally the higher your potential earnings are. So in the short term, there is a financial gain in going straight into employment. In the longer term, it might not pay off, however. You'll certainly have the potential for a higher salary if you've got an apprenticeship, so done some training while you're working. And obviously, of course, across the course of your working lifetime, the more qualifications you've got, the bigger your lifetime earnings are likely to be. So you need to balance the desire to be earning money now with how much money you're likely to earn across the course of your working lifetime. Going on a gap year, so buying yourself a year to make your mind up about what you want to do next, sounds like it should be cost-free, but actually it is going to cost you money. The companies that help you arrange a gap year will charge you for their services, and they can sometimes charge you quite a lot of money. They are companies, they are looking to make an income for themselves, they're not doing it charitably, so they will charge you for their services. Now, their services are great, they'll set you up with some amazing experiences, but you will have to pay them for it. So it may well be that you've got to earn some money for a few months, maybe the first half of a gap year, to fund what you're actually going to do for your adventure during the rest of your gap year. In particular, if you're travelling to another part of the world, you've got to factor in that you will have to pay your travel costs up front, and that isn't just the ticket to get you to whichever part of the world you're going to. Most countries will issue you a student visa during a gap year, but they'll insist that it's a return ticket that you've bought to make sure that you're not just going to try and stay in that country at the end of your gap year experience. And you will obviously also have your cost of living during your gap year as well. You're going to have to be able to sustain yourself, pay for food, pay for the other things that you want to do. If you're going to go and have a gap year in Australia and New Zealand, you want to have money for paying for things like going on an outback bush trail, or doing bungee jumping in New Zealand, or whatever it is that you want to do. So you will inevitably have to have some money saved and ready to fund all of that. And so you are likely to need to have to work for a chunk of your gap year before you go off and do your gap year adventure, because there is no such thing as a free lunch. As cool as it is doing all these things, nobody's going to give that to you for free unless you are very fortunate and you've got very wealthy parents that are going to just fund it for you. Going to university, it's the finances of it that can be the most scary and the most off-putting for the most people, particularly for your parents. If they didn't go to university themselves and you are the oldest in your family, you might be the first person that's ever gone through this process, and the financial aspect of it can seem quite massive and daunting for your parents in particular. Everybody knows about the concept of student debt. They know that you finish university with debt, so that can be something that puts people off. I'd like to try and dispel some of those worries about the finances of going to university though. When you go to university, you can apply for 2 different kinds of student loan. The first one is designed to cover your tuition fees, and you apply for a student loan to cover your tuition fees from the student loan company. I've put the link on the website for you. Now, it's a loan that you take out to pay the university for providing the education that they do during the course of your time with them. You don't see a penny of that money. You make the application to the student loan company, but the student loan company pays it directly to the university that you are attending. So you don't see that money come into your account and go out. It goes straight to the university. The typical university charges over £9,000 a year, which means that you are likely to finish a 3-year degree with £27,000 worth of debt straight away, and that's money that you won't have seen because it will have gone straight to your university. That sounds scary, £27,000 worth of debt. The other form of loan that you apply for is called a maintenance loan, and there is a government website. I've put the link on the website for you, and it's here as well on the slideshow, which will enable you and your parents to calculate how big a maintenance loan you will be eligible to apply for, because it is means tested against your family's household income. So the higher your household income is, the less loan you can apply for, because the government figures that the more your parents earn, the more money they can afford to give you to help you with your cost of living at university. So the maintenance loan is designed to pay for your costs, your accommodation, your food, if you need to buy books for your course, going out, eating, all that kind of stuff, clothes, your cost of living expenses during the 30 weeks of a university year. It's not designed to last you during the holidays as well. They think, you know, you come home for a month at a time, and in between your first year and your second year of university, or your second and third year, you have a 4-month summer holiday. They are anticipating you will get yourself a part-time job of some kind during the holidays. So the maintenance loan is only designed to last you for 30 weeks. That is money that does get paid into your bank account. And then from that, you then have to pay your university for your accommodation, and you have to then be able to budget the rest of the money to cover everything else that you need to be paying for when you're at university. So the maintenance loan will be means tested, so I can't tell you what figure you will get. There is a calculator, if you follow the link, where your parents can put them in their household income, and that will tell you straight away how much maintenance loan you'll get per term, so per 10-week period, so that you can then talk to your parents about how much money they might be able to give you to top up, if necessary, your maintenance loan if you don't think your maintenance loan is going to be enough. But that is money that comes to you from the government. It's paid to you through your local authority. So for students in Dartford, that gets paid to you through Kent County Council. If you live in one of the London boroughs, it's your London borough that pays you your maintenance loan into your account at the start of every term. And that is also, like the tuition fee loan, that is money that you are expected to pay back at the end of your degree. Now, this generates a lot of anxiety amongst young people applying for university and for their parents, because they think, wow, you've got to do 3 more years of study and you're potentially going to finish with a lot of debt. The typical student debt at the end of a 3-year degree is anywhere between £35,000 and £40,000, and that sounds horrific, to be 21 or 22 and suddenly have £40,000 worth of debt. But I just want to make some things clear for you. about why you shouldn't be scared or worried about that. When the student loan system was introduced and tuition fees began to be charged, the government, right up until the last minute, was going to make repaying your loan from university a tax. It was going to be a graduate tax. So it was going to come straight out of your salary at source in the way that national insurance contributions come out or your income tax comes out. And so you were never going to see that money because it was going to be taken out by the government centrally at source. And only at the very last minute did they change it to make it into a loan scheme. And the reason why they did that was because they wanted to make sure that graduates were earning enough money before they started paying back the money that they'd borrowed to get them through university. If they'd done it as a graduate tax, everybody would have been paying it right from the very first job that they got after university as a percentage of their salary. What the government wanted to have happen was that students would only start repaying their university loan when they were earning a certain amount of money, because they recognised that they didn't want to start taxing people if they were on a relatively low income in their first job after university. So the government now will only start taxing you to repay your student loan once you are earning £25,000 a year. So until you have a job after university that earns you that much, they won't even try and get you to start repaying your student loan. The interest rate that they charge on your student loan is linked to the retail price index. Now that goes up and down, but the government chose that figure because generally it stays low, which means that the loan you've taken out, no matter what inflation does, generally speaking, the percentage of interest that you're paying on your loan will always stay low. And this was another thing that the government did to make sure that you wouldn't end up paying back much more than you had borrowed to go to university. Now, the other good news around student loans is that after 30 years, so say you finish university when you're 21 and you start earning then, when you hit 51, if you've been in full-time employment through all that 30 years, no matter how much money you still owe them on your student loan, the government will write off that loan. So you might have borrowed £40,000, but you might still have £25,000 left to repay on your student loan. They will just write that off. You'll never have to repay it. In fact, the government has worked the system out so that even people who are earning super huge amounts of money over the course of their working lifetime, so people that are earning hundreds of thousands of pounds a year, even they will only repay a maximum of 60% of their student loan because it's linked to the retail price index, because of the interest rate they're charging. Even they will not pay back more than 60%. So you might finish university owing £40,000. You might go on and earn hundreds of thousands of pounds a year working in a big career in finance in the City of London. But for you, after 30 years, your loan will get wiped off as well, and you'll look back and you will probably have only repaid something like £24,000 of your £40,000 loan. The majority of students won't pay back much more than less than half of what they borrowed to go to university, spread over 30 years. And actually, because the student loan company sets that up so that it goes out at source from your income, even when you get your first paycheck after university, it goes out and you don't even realise the money's gone out. There are teachers, for example, who might have finished university 5, 6, 7 years ago, who are still only paying £80 a month on their student loan, and they don't even realise it's going out because that's significantly less than any other expense that's going out of their bank account each month. The thing that you balance against that, you might have to pay a maximum of £26,000 of a £40,000 loan back, but over the course of your working lifetime, the average graduate earns £300,000 more than someone without a degree. So you might pay back the government £26,000, but you will have earned £300,000 more because you've got a degree. So from a financial perspective, all the thought of having to take out those loans and repay them absolutely should not be a barrier. It should not be something that you are anxious about or something you are worried about going forward, because financially you'll be much better off for having a degree than if you didn't have a degree. So the next thing that you need to do is probably watch this video with your parents, click on some of the links on the financial implications page on the website, use the calculators there that will show you how much student maintenance loan you might qualify for if you want to go to university. Follow the links that are on there that link through to the government website about apprenticeships that gives you the typical pay rates for apprenticeships at different levels, at level 3, level 4 or up to level 6 if you're doing a degree apprenticeship. Look at some of the links through to some of the gap year providers that will help you work out how much a gap year might cost you, and then have a really honest and open conversation with your parents about money. It might be that their financial situation is very different from how you imagine it to be. Some of you might find out they've got a lot less money than you thought they did, and therefore they might not be able to contribute as much as you would hope towards your maintenance at university. Some of you might find out your parents are actually in a better position than you thought they were and might be quite happy to carry on funding you. If it means you getting 3 years of a degree, they might be quite happy to make that financial sacrifice for you and top up your maintenance loan to give you the opportunity to go. So you need to have a really honest conversation with your parents about money to help you to make your mind up whether you are better off going out and starting earning money now, or if your parents can actually afford to keep digging in their pocket for you for a little bit longer to give you a better start in life financially. Remember, when your parents are old, they might be looking to you for some financial help and support as well, so maybe they are keen to invest in you now to get you into a career where you're going to earn a lot of money so that you're able to help them out when they're old and retired. As always, everything you need for weighing up the financial implications of the 4 different options available to you is on the website. All of the links that you need are there for you to be able to calculate how much you'd have to repay for different things, what your earnings would be at different points. And don't forget that those websites that I referred you to around choosing careers, like Career Pilot for example, they will also give you ideas about typically what you might earn in certain careers as well, to help you make some financial projections for the future about which of these options is going to be the best for you.